Welcome to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast, where high achieving entrepreneurs and leaders come to receive deep, insightful conversations and practical guidance to move from hustle to flow without sacrificing their authentic self and the results. I am your host and Chief Energy Officer, Tammy Cho, a former patient care leader turned international best-selling author, speaker, and face and body analysis expert. Get ready to lead your authenticity, lead your energy, and lead your impact.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, being here with me today. I do appreciate your time, your energy, and your presence. And I'm excited to dive into what I'm going to be sharing with you today because it's something that I don't see or hear a lot of people talk about. And it's something that got sparked within me as I was going through a discovery call with a potential client. And it really opened up something in me in a different way. And I really want to speak about this anatomy of hitting a plateau because I actually do see this in a lot of clients I work with, and they all have different words for it. But the commonality is that they're hitting a plateau. They're feeling like they're hitting a wall. It's an invisible wall that they can't seem to put a finger on. And I've also seen this played out in myself in my own story, right? And because this is not talked about very often, I really want to dive into it and break down all the pieces so that you could identify for yourself if this is where you were at and where you may be at in the future. Because actually, the plateau is part of our evolutionary journey as leaders. It's part of our human evolution and growth. And so it's really important to bring consciousness to this because it could really run the show if we're not paying attention to it. And honestly, for my experiences and just witnessing some of my other clients, this is so important because it could cost you a lot of time to actually realize you're stuck in something that you need to actually slow down to look at. And it causes a lot of my clients to overinvest with a lot of different coaches trying to find the answer outside of them. It does cause a lot of issues in breaking down the self-trust within ourselves or a level of worthiness. You know, how we think there's something wrong with us. We jump to that within ourselves and it wears us down at a soul level, at an energy level, at a time, money, resource level. Okay. So this is super important and listen in and we'll dive right in. Okay. So in this discovery call with this potential client that is soon to be my client, she saw one of my social media posts and it really spoke to her in the sense that, yeah, why do I have this certain amount of success and I still feel this emptiness? I still feel this plateau within myself. Like, why do I feel there's this invisible wall that I can't seem to move forward? And so she booked a call with me for this reason. And she was saying, I feel like I'm working harder than I should be on so many levels. And I'm just not in love with it anymore. I just feel like it's not what I want to do anymore, but I'm not sure. Like, I'm not really sure what's missing. But what she knows is that she's waking up and just feeling like she doesn't have the energy. She just feels like she's not lit up anymore. And she's going through the motions. She could do things like the back of her hand, and she's learned how to achieve and do all these things. And she's created success for herself. And she also helps her clients like create success. So it's just was bothering her so much that she didn't understand why it felt like she was just going through the motions, right? And just hitting this plateau. Yet a part of her feels she's here for more. And this was one of the other pieces within her that was calling her to book this call with me. And this is when we can look outside and see all these things that are going well in our business or like things that are doing well or KPIs are up to a point. But how come that's not matching how I feel? That it just feels like she was out of alignment and she felt that she was out of touch with her own body to the point that she said that I don't even know who I am anymore. I feel like I can't seem to vision about what the next step is for me. And it causes a lot of internal turmoil within someone, right? To be able to create success and have this feeling within self. And as I was asking questions and inviting her deeper into herself, right? She realized what she was feeling in that moment felt a lot like when she had left corporate before, where she felt this level of disconnection. She felt that she was working for a corporation that she didn't feel alignment with. There's a misalignment there with the values of the organization. And she felt disconnected working there. And she felt this going through the motions feeling. And like she was losing herself because she wasn't encouraged to express herself. And so all this disconnection comes forth within herself when there is something deeper that has been trying to get our attention, but we are ignoring ourselves. We know that there's a misalignment somewhere. And it's because we're often in our heads, right? We're not in our bodies. And like this person had expressed, she felt like she was out of touch with her own body. So disconnection comes when we're actually ignoring flags that have been shown to us within ourselves. And we're not sure where to go. And the next phase people often go through is this loss of energy, right? It becomes a drain on our heart or soul or energy in it. It feels we're going through the motions, right? And we're losing that spark. We've lost our life force energy because we're not truly listening to ourselves at a deeper level. There's something calling us back home. But because it doesn't really make sense, everything seems to be working on the outside. But why do I feel this way? There's a disconnect. There's a misalignment. And so often when this piece of us is ignored, that loss of energy, it feels like, oh, sometimes it can feel like this low grade depression, like this drain in our energy system, that even though we go and move our body and exercise, we feel good in the moment, but then we come back to life and then we realize, oh, it's still there. And sometimes we could go through life, right? Trying to take care of ourselves with these quick fixes, and we're not addressing the deeper cause. The disconnection continues on and starts to morph and be numbed out. Because what we ignore long enough, our body learns how to numb it out. I remember having this experience working with a client where they couldn't actually feel when they're touching themselves. It felt the sensation was so decreased. And that client didn't even realize that until he experienced more sensation in his body. And that's when we realized that's how it was showing up on his body. That disconnection was ignored and he had a loss of energy, passion, spark in his life, and he had to fill it up with other things. But when we looked at the deeper wounding within himself, then sensation started coming back when he allowed himself to come back to himself. And it gets to a point within ourselves that our mind takes over. It's snap out of it. You have all this stuff. Let's focus on some gratitude on all these things, right? And it does move us forward. But often it's at the expense of ourselves. And our mind makes up, we got to maintain the status quo, right? Because honestly, we don't know what else to do. We don't know where to go. It's something that sometimes brings a lot of shame within ourselves that we don't want to show up this way and to speak about. And so this is where we start to wear the mask. We start to wear the mask that we don't want to show ourselves to other people, but we also start to wear the mask to ourselves. And we numb out that part of ourselves that feels uncomfortable. All these parts of ourselves that feel like, oh, they don't align with where I'm going and what I want. And so that this is the part where people start to wear the mask. And that's a big part of what I did on my journey, right? I wore the mask so long, I didn't even know I was wearing the mask. And so this is what she was experiencing. And as I walked her deeper into herself, right? She realized where this was showing up in her body, and I could feel it in my own body. And I held her in that so that she doesn't turn away from it and that she turns towards it. And this is where things get opened up when we turn towards what is uncomfortable, because the answer is always here. It's just that we're not trained, right? We're trained to move towards pleasure. and away from pain and all these things. Our mind will be the biggest protector for anything that feels foreign within ourselves, that feels uncomfortable on the emotional layer, right? Because the mind can't feel. And this is where that disconnection becomes solidified, right? And to wear this mask, we must put on a lot of protection. And so, what does that look like, right? Achieving more and doing more of what we know. And from this place of doing more, like maybe for you, it's people pleasing. I want to give more because that feels good, right? So we keep on doing these things, our patterns, so to speak, these identities we play, keeping rational in our mind. Maybe it's moving into just being really restless in our energy, and it's actually underlying anxiety from the fear that is bubbling up. And we feel like we can't sit still. We just can't be present with our family. And it takes a toll, right? Because if we don't allow ourselves to connect to ourselves, we're also manifesting that disconnection outside of ourselves. And for me, and what I see in a lot of my clients, because a lot of my clients are moms, they're feeling like they don't want to be with their families. They find excuses. They got to do more versus actually being with family, or that they're in a room with all these people, family or colleagues, and they just feel like this disconnection. They can feel like they're wearing this mask. But it's okay because I'm maintaining the status quo, right? And so that's where disconnection morphs from, moving from disconnection to this loss of energy to then filling the wound. Because when we're not looking at the deeper emotional block, these hidden blocks within ourselves, it gets then held in our body. It gets reinforced through these patterns that often cause us to burn out because we're trying to fill the hole. We're trying to fill the disconnection. We're trying to push past this plateau. And some of us are really smart, right? We hit this plateau. We know that it's not socially acceptable. I can't achieve anymore and then I'll burn out. Then I'll look bad. And then I can't do all of these things and maintain all these things. And so we start to take care of ourselves just enough to get by. And sometimes what happens is that this part of ourselves that is not addressed, right? It's like that evolution of burnout where some people will burn out. And then when they are feeling better in taking the steps to take care of themselves, just enough to maintain things or to shift things around, right? They'll hit another plateau of disconnection. And if you don't recognize the anatomy of this disconnection, this is where a lot of the things that we replay in our lives, where it seems like it's a similar result in energy, but we feel like we're hitting some sort of plateau there, right? It's the same face, same circumstance, same energy. And when we don't know how to lead our energy and seeing the energetic patterns behind things, we can move through life thinking that we are moving forward and we just keep on pushing until we burn out. And many high achievers feel that pushing more and achieving more is going to get them there, right? But if that was the case, you would have already discovered the solution. You wouldn't be hitting the plateau. You wouldn't be experiencing the symptoms of disconnection and symptoms of feeling drained, that loss of energy, and maybe burning out at some level. Because when we start to wear those identities that fill the wound without actually addressing the wound, we are operating at a level of energy that recreates the same thing. And not only that, is that the more we try to fill the hole, to feel good about ourselves, to feel those positive feelings, it's like those dopamine hits that we get, right? And eventually those hits get smaller and smaller. It's like that window of happiness no longer feels as high, no longer feels as good. And it becomes shorter and shorter until you feel the disconnection again. Or it manifests into challenges in your body, into symptoms that are trying to get our attention. But this is it, right? When we feel disconnected and we're not tuning into ourselves, we're also developing this disconnection with our bodies, right? The reason why she has all these mindset and strategies and tools and knowledge and wisdom, but she can't tap into it is because she's disconnected with her heart. She's not feeling deeply. And I could see through her face analysis, this is a big part of her gift set. And when we don't allow ourselves to fully express our gifts, we're going to lose energy. I can see when I'm speaking with her, she's expressing emotion on her face, but there's a flatness there. And it's not about what I see so much. It's holding someone else to see themselves and to feel themselves again. That's what makes the biggest difference. And honestly, this is where face and body analysis comes in, right? Because when we feel stuck and we're hitting those plateaus and we don't know why, we don't have our own diagnosis on the problem, this is where your own face and body doesn't lie. Whatever you do not process and access and love and connect to within yourself, those parts of ourselves are being held in our body. And it turns into symptoms. Sometimes it's dis-ease, like depending where you are on your journey. And so it's really crucial to learn what your body is screaming at you to try to get your attention about. Are you listening? So if you're listening to this and you're ready to just dive right in, right? To get that calm clarity with what's next, what are the gifts that are trying to be expressed, and to confidently express your gifts, to embody your gifts and live out your gifts and to create that impact you're meant to, and to really develop this deeper love and worthiness within yourself, and to really harness this emotional intelligence and energy leadership, please book a call with me. I love to support you. I have 20-minute calls as well as 1-hour calls if you're just wanting to connect or if you're wanting to dive deep, knowing that you're ready to just be held into the next step. And if you feel like you're not quite ready to take that step, please come into my Energetically Aligned Leaders Facebook group. It's a place where I do weekly trainings, and once a month, I also offer for you to submit what kind of symptoms are you experiencing in your body. And I will go through what it means at a psychosomatic level. What does it mean at a deeper level? What is your body trying to tell you? Start to bring those pieces together for you. Thank you so much for being here for this episode to really understand the dynamics, the anatomy of this plateau that all of us are meant to experience, and to support yourself in relating to it in an entirely different light, to recognize when you're in it so that you can choose, make a conscious choice to move out of it. And so I hope this episode has really guided you to really see the truth behind things. I look forward to serving you on this journey and help you move forward to the next level. Everything is below in the show notes, and I look forward to connecting with you. Lots of love. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. And leave us a review so others can find the life-changing content that we're sharing here. We are starting our movement on our way to number 1, and we need your help to get there. If you'd like to connect with other high-achieving entrepreneurs and leaders who are also on their authentic, energetic leadership journey, join our free Facebook community, Energetically Aligned Leaders. Go to pathtotheheart.com/links to join the Facebook group, book your personalized face analysis experience, or to access our resources.